Hello and welcome to my channel. This is Jacob here, and I'm going to be talking about a Warhammer fantasy horror novel, and that is Castle of Blood by C.L. Werner. C.L. Werner has written several other entries into the Warhammer fantasy universe. This one takes place in the new Warhammer fantasy world, whereas the old one, well, not the old one, but some of his other series, such as the Witch Hunter, Matthias series, took place in the world before it became what it is now, which I don't actually fully understand, so I'm not even going to pretend to try to explain it, because I am sure there are tons of other YouTube channels that go into far greater detail than I ever could between the difference between the new Warhammer Fantasy Universe and the old Warhammer Fantasy Universe. All I know is this is one of the first books that I have read taking place in the latter, and I had to learn a lot about the new city-states and stuff like that, which I found very interesting. I think there was a very decent amount of world building done here where I could kind of pick up stuff. So if you are looking for a first foray into the newer Warhammer fantasy universe and fiction, I would recommend getting this book, because, you know, I think it did a very good job without being overly confusing. And this is also a very fun book. What ends up happening in this book is a group of somewhat strangers, some of them know each other, others don't, are all gathered at an eccentric, I don't think they said how much he actually was worth, but in a eccentric nobleman's house where he has invited them all to a ceremonial dinner, and they haven't really been told why they've all been called, but once there, they soon discover that he has unleashed a demon. This demon is allied to Khorne, which maybe I'm pronouncing that wrong. I'm not 100% sure on how all of the demons within the Warhammer universe, or not the demons, but the old gods within the Warhammer universe are actually pronounced. So if I'm pronouncing that wrong, please let me know in the comments below. But a demon allied to Khorne, who is, of course, the basically the god of blood and carnage, even though all of the old gods tend to do a whole lot of killing. The gods of chaos are kind of known for their mass slaughter tactics. They just go about it in different ways. This demon likes to possess people and then use their bodies to kill their loved ones. So that's kind of what the whole book is about. They are all trapped now in this mansion. There are witch hunters outside that are refusing to let them out, and they have to, A, discover why they've all been called there, which, you know, whose slight against the old man was the greatest, and also how they can work together to try and survive not only the demon, but to find a way out. Because once again, no one wants to actually give the demon a host body to escape the mansion with. There's some really interesting characters in here. One of the main characters is a female duelist. Her father was a famous duelist, and her betrothed, or at least lover, is a witch hunter who has actually entered the building against orders to come save her, and I thought that was a very interesting little plot line. There's also some dwarves, and you get to kind of see, at least to me, I thought it was interesting to see dwarves and how they play out within the new Warhammer Fantasy Universe. If you're familiar with the Warhammer universe, you know that in a lot of the fiction, in the older fantasy stuff, dwarves, except for Gortek Gunnarsson and other slayers, were very, was like isolatory. They kind of stayed to their keeps and stuff like that. So it was very interesting to kind of see these dwarves and how they all interact within the human societies. Because once again, the new Warhammer Fantasy Universe is very different from the old, as I am still learning, and I still have a whole lot of learning to do, so feel free to correct me anywhere in the comments. I don't want to spoil this book for you because it is a really good mystery book, and I feel like if I keep going, I'm going to end up giving a whole lot away. And I don't want to do that because not only is it a good mystery, it's also a good horror book. There are a lot of deaths you will not see coming. There's also a lot more to the house than meets the eye. It's very, I don't want to say Count of Monte Cristo, but let's just say this guy had a bit of an H.H. Holmes complex when he was going about setting up his revenge, which has been planned for a very long time against this specific group of people and their loved ones for reasons you will discover within the book. Some of the slights are understandable why he would want revenge, and others are just downright petty. But of course, it is a grimdark universe, and that's what makes it half the fun. So if you are looking for something to read next and you like Warhammer or are looking for a good entry point into Warhammer that's not, you know, straight up hardcore grimdark or high fantasy with big wars and lots of characters you got to keep up with, then I would say get this book. I think it's a great introduction to the Warhammer universe, and it is a fun one-off story. There is no sequels. This is not a beginning to a series. This is just a standalone novel, and like I said, it is a lot of fun, and it has a beautiful cover. I really hope that the Black Library, which is Warhammer's fiction line, keeps making like beautiful books like this. I like this a whole lot, and this is something I would definitely, you know, I'm going to keep this on my bookshelf, and I would be interested if they keep making books like that. I don't know if they will, but it would be neat if they did. If you've read this, or if you read other of the newer Warhammer Fantasy series and want to talk about them, or give me some recommendations, or you disagree that this is a good book, or whatever, let me know in the comments below. And as always, please like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.